Do you believe in punishment for abortion? Yes or no, as a principle?
The answer is that there has to be some form of punishment.
For the woman?
Yeah, there has to be some form.
Well, he has always said exactly what he wants to do to the women, punish them. That was Donald Trump's now infamous response during a campaign town hall in 2016, that he believes and doubles down there with Chris Matthews in punishing women who have abortions. Now it looks like he's putting the people into place who will do that for him. Trump has announced he would appoint Ed Martin, the author of the RNC platform that life begins at conception, to be chief of staff of the Office of Management and Budget, the agency entrusted with implementing Donald Trump's Project 2025 agenda. His views are so extreme, you should hear them for yourself.
I certainly think that you're going to find a lot of people that step away from jail time because they're going to say, well, this is, but if you believe it's a baby, I do, then you have to do something to protect the baby. The late Phyllis Schlafly, whom I worked so closely with, used to say, if you get to claim and frame the argument, you almost certainly get to win. In other words, if you take their framing, it's a woman's right. Are you going to put women in jail? No, it's about a baby. Now what do? Frame the argument, own the argument.
One of the most common exceptions called for is an exception to abortion laws in cases where the mother's life is at risk. I'm entirely opposed to this language. It's an absolute scientific fact that no abortion is ever performed to save the life of the mother. None. Zero. Zilch.
Wow. Let that sink in. No exceptions for the life of the mother. If you somehow manage to get one to save your life, Ed Martin had his way, they might put you in prison. It shouldn't be surprising that anti-abortion state leaders see an opening to intensify the persecution of women and doctors. On Friday, Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton announced he would be suing a New York doctor for providing abortion pills to a woman living in Texas. Let's bring into our coverage President of Reproductive Freedom for All, Minnie Timuraju. Minnie, your thoughts?
I mean, this is Project 2025 come to life, Nicole. This is everything we warned about and screamed about that just under half of the country recognized, right? These guys are the extremist architects of some of the most cruel policies in this country. You know, Ed Martin didn't just say the quiet part out loud. He's a right-wing talk radio host. He gleefully proclaimed it out loud. So if anyone thought for 5 seconds that Donald Trump was going to moderate his tune, they were sorely mistaken. The thing that our exit polling and our work that we're seeing in the field post the election that's important for us to remember, though, is that not all Americans understood or still understand that the Trump administration and all these appointees are so radical on abortion. He said he wants to leave it to the states. So what we have to do is educate the American people about Ed Martin and other appointees that are deeply problematic, but also explain to them why the Office of Management and Budget has anything to do with abortion and why this is so dangerous, because it's not obvious on its face.
So let's hear more of Ed. This is about a rape victim who was 10 years old.
The true bane of the pro-life movement is the faction of fake pro-lifers who claim to believe in the sanctity of human life, but are only willing to vote that way with a list of exceptions.
This horrendous story in Ohio where a 10-year-old child was raped. This 10-year-old was brought up as an example of why abortion is necessary. Now, I have said over and over again that, you know, the examples that shouldn't be the rule, right? You can't let the exceptions be the rule, especially when you get engaged in a debate. And I refuse to do it. I refuse.
I mean, Ed's refusal to get engaged in the debate doesn't save the 10-year-old rape victim. What happens to them in Donald Trump's America?